expressions. The distributive property, as we know, happens when we multiply the number on the outside of the parentheses by each term on the inside. So let's take a look at a few examples. Apply the distributive property to expand each expression. So if we think about this outside factor being distributed to each factor on the inside, it would be 2 times x and then 2 times 4. So it would look like this. 2 times x plus 2 times 4. Don't forget to bring down that plus sign. That's very important. Then if we simplify, 2 times x is just 2x, and then 2 times 4 is just 8. So therefore, the simplified version would be 2x plus 8. So take a look at the next one. So we have 4. We're going to distribute that factor to each term on the inside of the parentheses. Now here, if you notice, we have a subtraction sign, so it's very important that we know to bring down that subtraction sign. So 4 times m, and then 4 times 3, and bring down that negative. And it simplifies to 4m minus 12. Okay. Let's take a look at the next one. 3 times 2n plus 3 times 3. 3 times 2n is 6n, 3 times 3 is 9. Now let's take a look at this fourth one. 4 times negative 3r would be negative 12r. And then we bring down our minus, and 4 times 6 is 24. We get negative 12r minus 24. Okay. But what happens when there's only a negative sign outside the parentheses? Be careful. Make sure you remember to change the signs if the outside number is negative. So let's take a look here. This is saying negative x plus 4. Or you can think of it as this negative is indicating the opposite of what's on the inside. You can also think of it as a negative 1 being distributed to the inside of those parentheses. So negative 1 times x would be negative x, and negative 1 times positive 4 would be negative 4. Or we can just say, what's the opposite of x plus 4? It would be negative x minus 4. Let's take a look at the next one. What's the opposite of 2z plus 3? So the opposite of 2z is negative 2, and the opposite of positive 3 is negative 3. So negative 2z minus 3. Okay, number 3, taking the opposite of k minus 3. The opposite of k is negative k. The opposite of negative 3 is positive 3. So negative k plus 3. The next one. Now remember, we want to get rid of these parentheses, so you can either distribute that negative 1, or it's the same thing here as taking the opposite of what's inside. So the opposite of 6m minus 5 would be negative 6m plus 5. And the last one, the opposite of negative 3y minus 9 would be 3y plus 9.